Satnam Yogis. My name is Megan Riley. Today I'm offering a 1-hour Hatha yoga practice. This practice is designed to include postures that are very accessible for you at home, postures that are not too high risk or too complex in regards to the beginning student's journey. And they will give you a full spectrum practice nonetheless. So we will include back extensions or back bends, some twists, some forward folds, some inverting so that the blood flow of the head is below the heart, so on and so forth. So this practice is great for beginners. It's great for people who are trying to build an at-home practice and move through a sequence that perhaps they want to begin to memorize or just do when we have an hour to ourselves at home. Welcome to my home. This is my practice space, my altar, my music space, otherwise known as my living room. Today, in terms of what you'll need, we'll use a yoga strap. I have my beloved's necktie. I'm sitting on a blanket. I encourage you to get a blanket or a meditation cushion to help you elevate the hips so that we can create a nice anterior tilt in the pelvis, or otherwise known as a curve in the low back that allows you to sit comfortably. And if you have two yoga bricks or blocks, which I do not, ironically I've been practicing for 20 years and I don't have yoga blocks, but I do have these grippets that I'm going to use in their place. This will allow you to create elevation when you need the fingers to touch the earth, that sort of thing. So I encourage you to come to a comfortable seated posture. We can take Sukhasana, which is crossing the ankles. The legs then become, or the feet then become a little bit of a support underneath the legs. Or you can widen the knees of this posturing into a modified Siddhasana where we slightly upturn the ankles or even tuck those feet in behind the muscles of the calves and the hamstrings. Once again, get that slight anterior tilt of the pelvis so you sit towards the front of the blanket once the hips are elevated. Do not allow this to jet the low ribs forward, so the ribs together, draw them back, sit up tall in general through the spine, elevate the crown, and bring the chin to neutral. From here, please touch the fingertips of the index and thumb together and rest the palms face down on top of the thighs with straight arms. This is Chin Mudra, the mudra of concentration. Here, I invite you to either close the eyes entirely or to soften the gaze down to the earth just in front of your mat. In general, begin to breathe in and out of the nose using a yogic breath. Simply inhale through the nose and exhale out of the nose. The lips are softly sealed. The tongue is gentle in the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the nose. With the arms straight, the head of the arm bone is drawn back underneath the shoulders, allowing you as well to slide the shoulder blades in and down the back. Again, the chin remaining neutral, then allowing you to press the back of the skull or the upper palate behind you, finding greater length in the neck. Inhale through the nose, exhale out of the nose. There is no clenching in the jaw. The molars at the back of the jawline do not touch upper to lower. The muscles around the face are soft. The muscles in the forehead release. The ears even feel as though they're hanging onto the sides of the head, just gently. The scalp itself is relaxed. For 8 rounds of breath, find the internal mantra, so hum. Inhaling the syllables so, and exhaling hum. So, hum. Continue this internal mantra, the breath in and out of the nose, the posturing steady and full of ease. complete this exhalation, then one more round. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Join the hands together in prayer mudra or Anjali mudra at heart center. Gently press all fingertips 10 into the opposite. Bow gently, bringing chin just slightly lower than neutral, feeling the neck nice and long, and the sense of peace or grace come to this posture. Create your sankalpa or your intention for today's class. Hold sankalpa in your heart as we join our voices together for one round of Om, the sacred sound utterance. Please inhale and exhale fully. Inhale for Om. Full purifying breath. Release the hands, open the eyes, bring some blood flow back to the legs. Bring the feet out in front, feet are wide, knees are wide. Hold on to the back of the thighs. As you hold on to the back of the thighs, draw into the hamstrings to lift the chest and roll the shoulders under the head of the arm bone. Chin is neutral, upper palate or base of the skull pressing gently behind you, neck is long. From this neutral posturing, inhale into a seated back bend, otherwise known as seated cow. Exhale, pulling the back of the heart behind you, engaging navel into seated cat. Do this 4 more times, drawing in on the hamstrings. Inhaling, open the front of the heart, gaze goes slightly up. Exhale, pulling back the back of the heart, navel center engages, nice strong cat back. 3 more rounds with the breath. Inhale, lengthen the front body. Exhale, lengthen the back body. Inhale, anterior tilt to pelvis. Exhale, posterior tilt to pelvis. Come back in through neutral on the in-breath. Join the bottoms of the feet together in what you would call a butterfly or Baddha Konasana. Bring the heels far enough away from the groin so that you can comfortably open the knees. Track the outer kneecaps down to the earth. Hold on to either the feet, the ankles, or the shins, wherever the arms naturally extend straight and that you can hold an anchor. Once you're there, draw back gently, not so that you could pull on the legs, but that you can move the head of the arm bones into the socket, lifting the chest. This front version will give you a nice view of the straight up spine and the tracking of the knees. You can stay here and take 3 breaths, feeling the length of the spine by gently bringing the chin to neutral and pressing the back of the upper palate behind you. You might feel some reaction in the trapezius muscles and a broadening of the collarbones. You remain forward. I'll turn to the side so that you can see the curve in the low back. With the curve in the low back, we don't jet the rib cage forward. In fact, we corset the ribs and breathe into the kidneys, the back body, sitting tall. Inhale here, finding length from tailbone to crown. As you exhale, start to hinge the hips forward as you continue to track the knees down. Chin remains neutral, energetically illuminating the crown of the skull forward from the rooted tailbone that's to earth. Do not go past your edge. Your edge might look like this, like a little bit of a hunching back. As though I have a string on the chest, I pull the chest forward, getting that curve in the low back, maintaining full kidneys or thoracic, and then just gently surrendering into the hinging of the hips. Baddha Konasana, 1 more breath. On the inhalation, rise. Hold on to the outer knees. Draw the knees up. Either interlace the hands behind the shins, behind the calves at the thighs, or if you have more space and can bring the ankles in, interlace hands at the shins. Pull back on the legs, not to force the legs, but to draw the head of the arm bone into the socket. Feel this compression, bringing some release to the low back. Release the left foot into a straight posturing. Press the bottom of the foot forward. The right heel will either be close to the sit bone or move it away according to your need. Pull back here to set the spine straight. Keeping that left leg active, inhale the left arm up and overhead. Hug around the front of the shin. Either clasp opposite wrists or create a C clasp with the hands and pull out on the elbows as you sit tall. Deep in breath here, lifting through the crown. As you exhale, gently engage into the twist deeper by drawing the right waistline back, the right rib cage back, and opening the right side of that chest into revolution. The gaze should either be to the side, or you can revolve through the cervical vertebrae as long as there's no tension, looking back further behind. Inhale, coming out of the posture, interlacing fingers, getting that traction into the knee. Cross that ankle over the top of the knee. Draw that left leg up into a bridge posture. Press the hands behind you into the earth to lift the chest. Track that right knee forward, root down through the left foot. The side view will show you that the arms going straight helps erect the spine. 3 breaths. Feeling the sensation of the asana. Respond at that outer right hip. If there's any pain in the knee, actively open the toes a little bit more, press away from the bottom of the foot to engage the tendons in that knee, protecting the lengthening of those muscles. 1 more breath. On your inhalation, lengthen the leg out, move the foot to the inner thigh. Grabbing your strap if needed, throw the strap over the foot and bring it to the ball mounds of the toes. Above or below at the heel, above or below the arch, that is, at the heel. Arms go straight. Plug the arms into the socket to lift the chest without hyperextending that left knee. Deep in breath here, lifting the crown. As you exhale, go ahead and pull the elbows in towards the rib cage as you turn the palms face up. Feel the length through the back of that left hamstring and track that right outer knee down. Janu Shirshasana. If the strap isn't needed, you can grab onto either side of the foot, or you can use one hand to the leg or foot. Find length through the spine as you inhale from tailbone to crown, and find surrender into the fold as you exhale from crown to tailbone. 1 more breath. On the inhalation, rise with breath. Bring that left leg in front of the right to Sukhasana or Siddhasana. Tip of index finger and thumb together, palm face up. Soften the eyes down to a gaze in front of the mat or close them. Find an internal drishti, 3 rounds of breath. Inhale fully, inner body expands. Exhale fully, outer body softens. Inhale, inner body expands. Exhale, outer body softens. This breath, and 1 more. Open the hands, bring the palms face down, holding the knees, and round out through the hips. Round out around each knee. Feel the sit bones and the tailbone. Experience this revolution. And after this circle, move the opposite direction, rounding out over the other knee. Feel this asana, this dynamic movement, targeting the low back, the outer hip structure, maybe even into the digestive organs. Complete this circle and come back to neutral. Hold on to the outer knees, draw them in, same thing, either hold the outer thighs or the front of the shins, pull back on the leg. This breath, and 1 more. Straightening the right leg out, interlace hands around that left shin, draw back. On your next in-breath, extend the right arm up. Hug around, bringing the elbow in front of the shin and either clasp opposite wrists or C-clasp the hand. Right leg is active, pull out on the C-clasp hands. As you do this, lift the chest through, engage in your twist. Do not force the twist. If you force twisting, then you're moving into the future. Be present by being aware of the breath. As you inhale, inner body expands. As you exhale, outer body softens, and you move into the twist deeper. Drawing the left waistline back, the left rib cage, and opening the left shoulder. This breath, and one more. Inhaling to exit your twist. Bring those hands, interlace opposite index finger, and draw back to neutralize the spine. Perfect. Cross that left ankle over the knee, bend into the knee immediately, bringing that right foot in onto the earth, heel towards the sit bone, and then roll the shoulders back. Once you're here, root down through straight arms. Even turn the thumbs in to get a nice external rotation. Toes on the left foot are active, and you're tracking that left knee, just like we were towards the earth, now towards the anterior position of the pose. If you want more, that right heel comes back. You sit taller. You press arms straight, you lift chest through. Face is soft. This breath, and one more. Bend into the elbows, lean back slightly to safely deliver the leg out. Bring the foot onto the inside of the leg. Janu Shirshasana, side B, using your strap if needed, either above or below the arch of the foot. Arms go straight, and then draw the head of the arm bones into the socket. If this locks the knee, then create a little bit more space with the strap. Let go of a little bit. Nice in-breath to sit tall. As you exhale, turn the fingernails up. Draw the elbows in towards the midline of the rib cage. Keep the chin neutral, illuminate through the crown, and illuminate the chest into the hinging of the hips of this forward fold. Left outer kneecap is tracking down. Sit bones rooting isometrically into the earth. If you don't need the strap, you can release it. Take a greater depth in the pose, 2 more breaths. Janu Shirshasana lengthens the back of the straight leg, the low back muscles into the gluteus muscles, the piriformis. Inhale, rise through. Cross the right leg in front of the left. Index fingers and thumbs together, palms face up, Janu Mudra. Take 5 rounds of breath. Inhale, inner body expands. Exhale, outer body softens. Find this spanda or pulsation. Inner body expands, outer body softens. Complete this 5th round of breath. Arms reach onto the earth alongside the hips, walk the fingertips out. Flip the palms up 3 times. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands through to the heart. Keep the chin neutral, release arms, and again, inhale, lift. Exhale, surrender. Keeping the knees and the hip flexors soft, lower body's rooted. Inhale, upper body rises, length through the spine. Exhale, hands to heart. Release the hands. Remove the blanket, put it off to the side, strap to the side as well. Blocks will come towards the front of the mat. Please come to hands and knees. Hands and knees posture means that the knees are underneath the hips and the wrists are underneath the shoulders. I'll often move my hands forward about 1 inch of that because momentarily the spine is about to get longer. Draw the navel center up in towards the spine itself, and then soften the heart down so you feel the head of the arm bones go into the socket. 3 times, inhale, lift the tailbone, and lift the gaze to the horizon, not above. On your exhalation, root the tailbone as though you could touch the space between the knees, pull the back of the heart up, press floor away, chin slightly tucks. 4 more rounds. Inhale, lifting tailbone, opening front of the heart, gaze to the horizon. Exhale, take your cat back, opening the back of the heart, feeling the strength of the arms, tops of feet rooted. 5 rounds, connecting breath to movement. Inhaling is your back bend. Exhaling is your core expression into strength. After the 5th round, draw the toes to the midline, widen the knees, curl the toes under, and sit in catcher's pose. This posture intended to help level and strengthen the pelvis, bringing the spine into a nice neutral upright posture, but also curling the toes under. It lengthens the muscles under the foot, in particular the plantar that many of us struggle with. Surrender the weight of the legs, take 2 more breaths. If this becomes challenging, come onto hands and knees, tap the toes out, and then return to the posture for your remaining breaths. Crawl forward to hands and knees. Parallel the knees. Stretch the hands forward of that. Curl the toes under. Downward facing dog. Strong, straight arms. Keep the knees bent. Move into a hinge of the hips until the arms are between the ears. So this is your shoulder rotation. Lift the sit bones and the tailbones. Melt the heart through. And then press the inner thighs back as opposed to forcing the heels to the ground. Pedal the heels up and down a few times, feeling the length navigate, first left and then right, bending in and out of the knees. Now add a little gaze under each shoulder, getting into that shoulder rotation. Work on your exhalations to draw the rib cage to the posterior of the posture. And now find stillness, 3 breaths. The face should be soft, the arms should be strong. No locking in the knees. Breathe into the back body and melt the front body. Inhale to your plank. Exhale to hands and knees. Tops of feet all the way into Balasana, child's pose. Inhale with a cat back. Curl the toes under. Feet are parallel. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips are high. Do not collapse into the ribs. 2 more times. Inhale, plank, arms are strong. Exhale, knees, tops of feet to the earth, hips to the heels in Balasana or child's pose. Inhale, rock up to all fours, cat back. Curl the toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Feel the strength of the arms. Inhale to plank, lower to hands and knees. Flatten the feet and bring the toes together. Widen the knees here. If I give this to you on an angle, you'll see that the knees are wide and toes are to the midline. See in there. Stretch the arms forward, keeping the hips at the heels. Pull the rib cage up. Come into teepee fingers with the hands here so that the upper arms are lifted. Chin neutral, extend the crown, then soften into Balasana. If that's too hard, come up to forearms instead. If that's too easy, stack the fists and bring the third eye down to the fists. 3 breaths, find the place where you can be at peace, feeling ease in the pose, and breathe fully. Inhale to lift the torso, walk the hands back, press up to all fours, curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank, exhale, hands and knees. Flatten the feet, come to standing on the knees. Bring the left leg through into a lunge. Design the posture so that the hinge at both knees is 90 degrees. Bring your hands on top of the thigh. Take a deep in-breath to find length in the spine, draw the rib cage back, level the pelvis. As you exhale, bend into the front knee. The front knee will go in front of the ankle here. If it lifts, you can come just a little bit wider or you stop. There's your edge. Zip the pubic bone up and settle down the pelvis as you find length into the hip flexor here. This breath and 1 more. Stay here supporting the pose with your hands on your hips or release the hands. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Stay here or bring hands in prayer and bring the heels of the palm to the upper palate, lift the elbows and press the head into the hands. 3 breaths. Inhale to find length. Exhale, corseting the ribs and lifting out of the pelvis to find length in the hip flexor. If you're in the deeper back bend, inhale, arms up, back to neutral. Exhale, touch the earth. Curl the back toes under, straighten the back leg as you come into a high heel. Bring the hands to the hips, hug the legs to the midline, rise to standing crescent. Emphasize that the back leg is straight and strong, and then as you exhale, bend to track the knee over the ankle. Once you find 90 degrees, release the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. You can stay here. If there's any neck tension, you can bend the elbows or bring the hands to the hips. The primary focus is the lunge in the front leg and the strength in the back leg. Keep the kidneys full, and as you bend into deeper flexion, rise into a taller position through the spine. This breath, and one more. On your exhalation, touch the earth with both hands, but then inhale the left arm up in a twist towards the knee. Gaze can follow. Exhale, touch the earth. Lower the back knee. Bring the leg through into all fours. Widen the knees, bring the big toes together. Sit back to the heels. Lengthen forward, Balasana, with arms outstretched, or modified to the height that suits you. 3 rounds of breath. On an inhalation, rock up to all fours. Flatten the feet, walk the hands back, come to standing on knees. Side B, right leg comes through into your lunge, create 90 degrees. If the back foot is flat, do not allow the ankle to sickle. You could curl the toes under if you need to keep that leg straight that way. Hands come on thighs. Level the pelvis, fill the rib cage and the kidneys, lift through the crown. Inhale here. As you exhale, flex into that front knee. The knee will start to move in front of the ankle. That's okay because the hips are below the knee. Stay here or release the hands. Inhale, sweeping arms either up or hands in prayer. Heels to the upper palate, pulling the rib cage back, reaching out and bending deeper into the back extension. 2 more breaths. Feel the length of that left hip flexor, the surrender of the pelvis, the flexion of the knee, and the vitality of the breath moving prana through the pose. Inhaling, coming out of the pose, hands come back on thigh. Deep in-breath here. Curl the back toes under. Touch the earth. Lift the back leg until it's straight and strong. Track that right hip back in space. Inhale, the right arm up in a twist. Gaze only follows if it feels good on the cervical spine. Otherwise, gaze can be to the side or straight down. Exhale, touch the earth. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, standing crescent. Deep in breath here. Exhale, touch the earth. Lower the back knee, hands and knees. Widen the hands, root down through the hands. They're forward a little, moving into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Move there with bent knees. Draw the rib cage back. Align the arms between the ears, strong straight arms. Then press the inner thighs back as opposed to forcing the heels down. This breath, and one more. Widen the feet and walk the feet forward, a good foot. Grip the earth with the right hand. Draw the left hand either to the outer shin, or if you can reach the foot, take your twist. If you're holding the shin and there's any resistance, you might bend the knees slightly, but spin the inner thighs back. Deep in-breath here. Find length in the neck through your exhalations. Inhale to center. Exhale, side B, right hand to left leg or foot or ankle. Draw both shoulder blades down the back. This breath, and one more. Downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to meet the feet. Option A, the easier option, elbows come to thighs. Don't let the belly hang here. Engage the belly, extend through the heart, neck is neutral. This is your modified squat. If you'd like to go all the way into Malasana, You can widen the knees, settle the pelvis, hands at heart space. Use the upper arms not to force the legs open, but to anchor them, and then draw the head of the arm bones into the socket. Lift the heart into that space. Left hand goes down, right arm twists up. If that's too much, you can hold the knee and even draw back on it slightly to anchor the posture. Otherwise, arm goes up, maybe gaze towards the thumb. Do not neglect the breath. Inhale, inner body expands. Exhale, outer body softens. Inhale to exit side A, move to side B. Right hand goes down. Left arm either goes up or draws back on the knee so we can find our twist. The twist is gentle, never forced. This breath, and one more. Inhale, come out, hands are to prayer. Bring your hands up on your thighs, press into your thighs as you slowly roll to standing. Parallel the feet. With the feet parallel to Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Clasp right wrist with left hand, take a side bend. Avoid collapsing into the left rib cage as though I have a string here. Draw that right rib cage out into the length and then lean over. If there's no tension in the neck, inhale and lift the gaze under the arm to the sky. Inhale to center, palms face in. Exhale, miniature Utkatasana. Chair pose, I'll give you another view. This isn't about going deep here. I want the belly hollow. I want the shoulders back. I want this to be a mini chair pose. Utkatasana, feel the hollowing out of the belly. Inhale, reach the arms up to standing, clasp the left wrist, take your side bend. Fill through the right rib cage, think length, not distance. If you'd like, inhaling, gaze up. One more breath. Inhale on the rise. Exhale for your miniature chair pose. Make this less about the legs and more about the core. Fill the kidneys, hollow the belly on those exhalations. Lift through the crown. Inhale, come to standing. Exhale, release the hands next to the hips. Inhale, lift the shoulders through a circle. Exhale, round them down the back. Step to the top of your mat with your blocks at the front of the mat in case you need them when you come into your forward folds. I'm going to put my blocks on the medium height, and then this is what I'm talking about. When we go to reach into our folds, if we can't quite get to the ground and our pose looks like this, then we use the blocks to help us. Tadasana, mountain pose. Surya Namaskar A, right side first. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive, open the heart, chin neutral, all the way into a forward fold. Hands to earth or blocks, release the crown. Press into earth or blocks, inhale, spine up halfway into a slight back bend or Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands to earth, right leg back into a lunge. Left leg back into a plank. Modifying here, deep in-breath at the top of plank. Exhale, knees, feet, and slowly lower to the belly, hugging the elbows in. Shoulders do not dip down. Inhale into your very low cobra. Curl the toes, press knees into earth. Look down to the earth, press up with strong arms, and go into that bent knee entrance into your downward facing dog. 3 breaths in down dog. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the nose. After third exhalation, either step right through, right leg into your lunge, or if you need to lower to hands and knees, please do. Left leg forward to your half fold, fingertips on blocks. Exhale, fold in. Hands can be on earth or blocks. Inhale, rise to standing. Lift the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands through to heart. Thumbs on heart. Feel the chest lift as you inhale. Exhale, hands to side. Surya Namaskar A, side B. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, pull the waistline back. Engage through the core as you release into Uttanasana, your forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, your half fold. Exhale, hands to earth, left leg back into your lunge. Right leg back into your plank. Deep in-breath here. Modify chaturanga, knees, flats of feet, elbows hugging in with strong arms, or shoulders stay high. Lower to the belly. Inhale, low cobra, or if you want to walk the hands back and press up into full cobra, straight arms. Exhale down to the belly. Curl the toes, press the knees, press arms straight through all fours. Bent knee entrance into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. This breath, and 2 more. Come to hands and knees if you need for the transition. Otherwise, inhale, step left leg forward, right leg forward into a half fold. Exhale, fold in completely, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. This time, feel the rise and the fall of the chest. 1 more breath. Find that peace, that stillness. Release the hands. Open the eyes. Doing a time check. Okay, good. We have about 20 more minutes. We're going to move through just a small bit more of standing postures, and then we'll move to the earth. So we'll come into 2 very traditional or perfect for practicing balances. So first, we're just simply going to lift 1 knee at a time. If you stand with toes together, heels slightly separated, this is a little bit of an advanced posture for balancing. It is our natural gait, or in harmony with our natural gait, to stand feet hip distance apart. So if balancing is a challenge for you, I suggest hip distance. This is aligned with the hip points at the front. Hands start on hips. Shift the weight to the right leg and just simply pull the left heel off the floor, bending the knee. Then pull the foot off the floor. Then bend the knee until it's at a hip height. Rooting down through all 4 corners of the standing feet, interlace hands around the front of the knee. If that's too far, the back at the hamstring. Draw the leg up so you can get the head of the arm bones into the socket, and then let the arms fall straight. Take 3 breaths. Feel connected through the base of the right foot into the rooting of the earth, and find rise or buoyancy through the crown. Inhale, inner body expands. Exhale, outer body softens. Keeping the knees strong at a hip height, engage the core, hands to hips. Inhale, press the legs straight. Exhale, slowly release. Bring your hands down to your knees. Hold the kneecaps and make little circles each direction. Very tiny circles. We're doing this just to bring any release that we may have mustered up into tensing the feet. Standing, side B. Feet are hip distance. Shift the weight to the left leg. Right heel comes off the earth. Right foot comes off the earth. Right knee lifts to a hip height. Interlace hands either underneath the thigh or at the front of the shin. Draw the leg in towards the body so you can set the arms into the socket. Chin is neutral, neck is long. Now let the arms fall away to straight without the shoulders coming too. 3 breaths. Root down through the left leg. Rise through the spine and crown. If you find a drishti or an external point to set your gaze, this may increase your capacity for balance, for focus. Complete the breath. Hands to hips, strong core. Inhale, show me the bottom of your foot. Exhale, slowly lower the straight leg. Beautiful. This time, widen the feet. Turn the toes out slightly, heels in. We're not going all the way down to a goddess, but track the knees out. Now, I'm going to twist towards one side. It might look like I'm lowering the shoulder, but I'm not. I'm twisting. So press onto the inner thighs. It'll look like that shoulder is moving. Inhale to travel through center. Engage the core. Pull belly away from floor as you take this twist. Use this to feel the strength in your core. Pull the waistline back. Draw navel center in and up towards the spine. Good. Come through center, straighten the legs, bring the hands on the inside, bend back down into them, and then just sort of bend each way. Maybe get a little wider here, get a little juicy in the legs. Good. Straighten the legs. Heel toe the feet in. Balance 2 is Vrikshasana or tree pose. Okay, in this posture, you can either bring the toes to the midline if that balancing seems spot on, or to a hip distance. Shift the weight to the right leg. Turn the bottom of the left foot to the inner ankle. Roll that left knee open. This may be your pose. You might find balance here or with arms up in the air. If you'd like to go further, bring the bottom of the foot underneath the kneecap, that's critical, to the inner calf muscle. Track that left knee out. If you want to go deeper, that right hand can go on the hip. You can reach for the ankle, draw it up to the inner thigh. Wherever you're at, you press the foot into the leg and the leg back into the foot. Keep hands at heart on hips, or if you'd like to lift the energy and grow the pose organically, Vrikshasana tree pose, arms up in the air. Challenge yourself by lifting the gaze or closing the eyes, 2 breaths. Exiting with just as much integrity. If arms are up, hands to heart. As you bring hands to hips, rotate the knee forward. Show me the bottom of your foot. Slowly exhale the foot down. Side B on your own. Shift the weight to the left leg. Right leg configured above or below the knee joint. Tracking that right knee out and behind you. Rooting the inner left thigh back behind you as you press the foot into leg, leg into foot. Vrikshasana, side B. 3 breaths. External drishti for internal focus. Weave your way out just as responsibly. Hands to heart, hands to hips. Knee comes forward. Show me the foot and pressing that foot away to protect the low back. Releasing foot to the ground. Beautiful. One more little flow, and then we'll come to the earth. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, mini chair pose. Inhale, half fold. That's a 90-degree hinge at the hips, fingers on shins or block. Deep in-breath here. Exhale, either flatten hands to earth or hug them around the calf muscles. Inhale, half fold again. Exhale, fingertips to earth. Right leg moves back into a lunge. Straight, strong back leg. Spin the back foot. Either right hand on thigh or cartwheel the arms up and open. Warrior 2. Navel center is above the pubic bone. Gaze is over the fingers of the front hand. This breath and 2 more. Zip the pubic bone up. Soften the sacrum. Track the knee over the ankle and not in front of it. Back arm goes down the leg. Front hand palm face up. Reverse warrior, yogi's choice. Either keep the front leg bent or straighten the front leg. Do not collapse into the back hip. Reach out of it. Gaze up only if it feels good on the neck. Warrior 2. Cartwheel arms down, spin off the back heel, you're in a lunge. Step or jump switch. You can jump here, or you can lower the knee and switch through all 4s, or you could take a down dog. Opposite leg is forward, spin the foot, rise, warrior 2. Side B. Track the knee over the ankle. Back foot, outer blade is rooting. Navel center above the pubic bone. Reverse Virabhadrasana. Back hand down the leg. Front hand palm face up. Lift the arm up or lengthen it behind you. Breathe into the back rib cage. Straight leg or bend. Warrior 2. Cartwheel the arms down. Spin off the back heel. Lunge. Downward facing dog. 2 more breaths. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees, flats of feet. Walk the hands forward just slightly and hug the elbows in as you slowly come down to the belly. Stack the hands and bring the forehead on the hands. Shake the bum a little bit and soften the low back here. One at a time. Press the legs back into length. Press the tops of the feet into the earth. Tuck the tailbone. Bring the elbows under the shoulders. So if they're too far forward, you'll dip forward. You bring the elbow literally under the shoulders so that you can press and lift through. Don't lift the chin here. Chin to neutral, upper palate behind you. Press tops of feet into earth just enough to anchor. Grip the earth with the hands just enough to use that energy to pull the shoulder blades down the back. This breath, and one more. To come out safely, slide the hands forward as you lower the head. Bring the hands behind you, turn to one cheek. Let the elbows bend out to the side. Let the heels fall out to the side, full relaxation. Do not apply any action to the muscles. Relax here. Turn to the opposite cheek, 3 breaths. Bringing the forehead back to neutral. Bring the hands under the shoulders and a little further back. Roll the shoulders back. Either press here into low cobra or bring the hands back higher and press into straight arms into full cobra. The chin should be neutral, the head of the arm bones moving back, the chest lifting through. This breath and one more. Pressing feet into the earth, curl the toes under, bend the knees, move through all fours, downward facing dog. Last one. Take 3 breaths in this last down dog. Inhale, come to all fours. From all fours, swing your feet over to the outside of the right hip. Put that right ankle on top of the left foot and then sit off to the side. So you're on the inside of the feet. Looks like so. If this is challenging, bring a blanket under the hips. Bharadvajasana, with this posture configured, turn away from the feet. So bring the hand that's on the side of the feet to the opposite knee. Bring the other hand behind you, press it up nice and tall. Draw the rib cage back and take your twist. We're twisting away from the feet. Take one more breath here. Continuing to hold the knee, now turn the gaze past that front shoulder and towards the toes. Stay there, stretch the opposite arm past the ear. Release, hands to thighs, sit up tall, take a breath. For side B, simply rock forward, swing the feet to the opposite side. The ankle that needs support comes on top. The hand comes away from the feet to the opposite knee. The other hand behind you in the twist presses into the earth to help lift you up. Deep in breath here. Full out breath as you exhale into the twist. Keep everything there except the neck. Rotate it past that top shoulder towards the toes. Stay here or stretch the top arm past the ear. This breath and one more. Inhale to come out, hands come to thighs. Simply lean away from the feet and bring the feet into the front plane of the posture. Blanket elevates the hips for those of us who are challenged in forward folds. Take the inner and outer thigh, flesh, muscle, roll it to the outside of the pose. Hands come on either side. If proportionally that's not right for you, hands may need to come behind you. We want the crown over the tailbone, feet lengthening forward without locking them. This breath, and one more. Paschimottanasana. I'm going to grab my strap and demo with the strap. Once again, when you use a strap, it either goes above or below the arch. This is so that you don't press the arch flat. So this time I'm going to put it on the heels. I'm going to lengthen the arms forward. I'm going to crawl down the strap and then I'm going to pull the arms into the socket, lifting the heart center through. On my next exhalation, I'm going to corset the front rib cage and float the back ribs behind me. Deep in-breath here. As I exhale, I'm going to turn the fingernails up and bend the elbows as though they could touch the sides of the rib cage. Chin will remain neutral. If I find I have depth in the pose, I can create less slack in the strap and go further down. Slightly pressing foot into strap, slightly pulling strap into foot. As you inhale and exhale here, the inhalations will create a little lift as the belly expands and compresses into the thighs. The exhalation is the time to go a little bit deeper as the lungs decompress or empty, and then there's space to move into. Keep the neck long, chin neutral, 3 more breaths, Paschimottanasana, your west side stretch. If you have challenge finding depth in the pose, keep the hands behind you, arms straight, and just slightly bow forward. Spin the inner thighs, everybody, down towards the floor. If you find you can go very deep, you can always hold on to the sides of the feet, or even interlace hands or clasp behind the feet. 1 more breath. On the inhalation, rise. Going to make our way down to our backs now. Please put your blanket at the top of your mat, where you may use it for Shavasana later, underneath the head. Come, bring your feet to the opposite end of the mat. The blanket's just there for now. Hold on to the thighs. Now, with the thighs, what I always do in Navasana is I actually take the inner thighs and I pull everything out this direction so I can get the inner thighs, root the shoulders, and lift the chest at the same time that I'm holding that flesh, moving it into a direction that supports the low back. So if I was going to do that, I'd reach in here and I'd pull back and lift. On your next inhalation, rock back to balancing on the sit bones. Work to get the legs to 90 degrees, hugging them in. Open the toes, chin is neutral, neck is long. 3 breaths. This is Navasana, your boat pose, the supported version. Cross the ankles. When you come out, hold the knees. Take a seated cow and a seated cat. Round 2, draw the knees up. Reach for the inner thighs. Draw them into internal rotation. Lift the legs, lift the heart space. Stay here for 5 rounds of breath, or this time release the hand, engaging the fingertips forward, but pulling the head of the arm bone into the socket. Gaze is just over the toes. Squeeze the inner leg line together. Lift the heart space. Cross opposite ankle. Hold the knees. Relax the legs. 3 cat-cows. Back to neutral. For the last round, go through the same process and decide if you want to support it, knees bent without hands, or either supported straight legs or without hands straight legs. 3 rounds of breath. Good. Cross the ankles, or don't cross the ankles, pardon me. This time bring the bottoms of the feet together. Hold on to the ankles, let the outer knees become heavy, straight arms, chin neutral, full breath. Stay here or bend at the elbows, bringing the elbows to the inner thighs. Find your expression of 5 breaths in this forward fold, Baddha Konasana. Do not force. If the upper back starts to hunch, then either draw back a little bit on the shin bones to help slide the shoulder blades down the back and lift the heart space through, or come out a little bit. It's perfectly fine to sit up tall and neutral in this posture and allow just the tracking of the kneecaps down to the earth to be the expression or the activity. Complete the breath. Hold the outer knees. Draw the legs in. To make our way to our back, we're going to move slowly through low boat. So you start out in high, like you're going to go into high boat, just holding the thighs. And then at some point you're going to tip. At that moment, press the feet away, extend the arms alongside the IT bands, and gaze at the toes. If this causes too much neck tension, hold instead the weight of the neck. 3 breaths. Feet are at about and eye height. Slowly release. Widen the feet and shift them from side to side. Get the shoulder blades down the back. Bend the knees, widen the feet, level the sacrum. Take little windshield wipers. Be very little about this. Don't go insane, just get a little relief in the low back there. Good. Draw the left leg to the outer rib cage. Either keep the right foot rooted here as we get that length into the low back, or if you can safely press that left heel away and find length. Deep in breath, complete out breath. Bend the left knee again. This time roll it to the outer blade of the foot, in other words, into a reclined butterfly pose. Either keep the right leg drawn in or hold the opposite leg in blissful baby. So you reach through the inner leg to grab the outer foot. You pull down the knee towards the earth, pull down on the foot, and the bottom of the foot's facing the sky. If this is too much for the left leg, then come to the left foot instead of being in reclined butterfly, and just put the foot to the earth. Draw both knees into the outer rib cage. Put the right foot down on the floor. Draw the left knee in towards that outer left rib cage. Flick the toes of the right foot off the earth. Press the heel away until the leg goes straight. If that's too much, then keep the knee bent. Chin is neutral. If your head or chin is lifting up here and there's stress in the upper back, you can always take a blanket under the head. Bend that right knee again. Butterfly pose with the right leg. Roll to the outer blade of the foot. Stay here, drawing that left knee in, or reach through the inner leg to grab the outer foot. Ananda Balasana, blissful baby with left leg. Supta Baddha Konasana with right leg. Chin is neutral. Breath is full. Pull both knees into the outer rib cage. Stay here or reach through the inner legs to grab both outer feet. Ananda Balasana at center. If the head is supported, do not roll from side to side. If there's nothing under the head, roll from side to side. You can always remove the blanket if you choose. And then either stay here for a final 3 breaths, or draw the knees to the rib cage, outer, or hug the knees to the midline. And if you'd like, in this compression, if you'd like just a little more, you can always crunch up nice and tight, eyeballs to knees. Final breath in the posture. Slowly release one leg at a time to the earth. And then slowly, one at a time, lengthen the legs out till they're straight. Once the legs are straight, you're laying down in Shavasana. Widen the feet out to the side, open the arms so that there's airflow through the armpits. Palms are face up so you can get that external rotation in the arms, opening the chest, liberating the airway. Placing a blanket under the head if you find any upper back tension lifts the chin out of a neutral posture. Relax the entire body. Breathing in and out of the nose, bring your awareness to the breath and to slowing it down. Relax the muscles, the shoulders, the throat, the neck. Rest the tongue in the mouth. Release any clenching from the jaw. Soften the muscles around the eyes and in the forehead. Feel the ears become heavy. The breath is effortless. The body is just naturally breathing on its own. No technique applied. The entire length of the front body relaxes into the back body. The entire length of the back body relaxes into the earth. Two additional minutes. Complete stillness, complete silence. In Shavasana, conscious relaxation. As you relax, I'll move through a chant of Om. Giving you some sound vibration to surrender to. Breathe from within. Draw in a deep, full breath. Breath awakens mind. Mind observes the body. Mind and body as one. Bring movement in through hands, through feet, fingers and toes. Perhaps open and close the jaw or shift the head to each side. Perhaps stretch the arms overhead, find length. When you're ready, bend one knee, roll it out to the side, bend the other, roll it out to the side, Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly. And then roll to one side. Press your way back up to a seated posture. Easy seated posture, Siddhasana. Arrive in your upright posture with a soft gaze to the earth or eyes closed and hands in Anjali Mudra. Deep, full breath here. Bow into the mudra at your heart space in reverence and gratitude for this sacred science and the privilege to have access to this practice, this wisdom. We honor the roots of yoga. Let's seal the practice, one round of Om, connecting our vibration to the universal sound vibration of all things, all beings. One round of Om, please inhale and exhale fully. Inhale for Om. Full purifying breath. Bringing the thumbs to the third eye. I deeply honor the spirit within you, the practice, and our connection today. Namaste.